Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. That was wild. All right, that's cool. So Laki. All right, Israel. Shalom. Yahbashim Yahshua Barakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathum Bashim Yahushua to the sisters. It's the Isupk Wednesday law class. I am officer, priest and officer Natazak. Go sit down. Yeah. Go sit down. 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 So Laki. Okay, so the title we got today is "What Are You Willing to Sacrifice?" And that's not getting into how can I say? It's not like giving. I'm talking about what are you willing to sacrifice as far as like what's going on in your day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? Like things that you have to do. Hey, Shalom says. You know what I mean? Things that you have to do to be able to follow this truth, you know what I mean? As far as following the law, statutes, and commandments, you have to give up certain things in your life that could lead you into doing sin or could possibly weaken you while you're in this truth. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to detach yourself from those things because following this truth, you know what I mean? You can't be in the truth if you're not living truthfully. If you're not living It's like it. If you're not living in the way that the Most High, how can I say, the Most High expects you to live, you know what I mean, by following the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some things that are put into our lives that we tend to want to keep attached to us, knowing that these things could possibly lead us outside of what we are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, you have to know, like, walking in the truth is walking through the fire because the world is wicked right now. The whole world is wicked right now. The whole world is like they're following a system that was given to them by heathens. You know what I mean? So they live the way that society wants you to live. But when you step into this truth, you open your eyes up to this is what I wasn't supposed to do. This is what I wasn't supposed to do. And you start to see how common it is for sin to be put on you in this society. You know what I mean? There's no restaurant you can go to without there being like bacon, shrimp, or lobster on every menu. There's really not no, you know what I mean? There's no community you can go to where you can't find some type of drug for easy to get and cheap to get it. I mean, there's there's no society there's no city you can step into where there's no whores. You know what I mean? All these things are, Shalom says, what's going on? All these things are easy accessible because this is our, gotta say, this is our oppressor's nation. This is our oppressor's kingdom. And they can't do anything but sin, right? They can't do anything but live unrighteously. You know what I mean? So when you step into this truth, it's going to be even more difficult for you to live righteously because you're giving up most of the things that you used to do in your day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? So most people can't find a comfort zone within that. You know what I mean? And that's why ranking order is so important, because if you can't find a comfort zone, you can ask for counsel. You can ask for, you know what I mean, guidance to a brother that's over you, you know what I mean, and get the proper counsel that you need to be able, because brothers been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? There's brothers that's been in this truth for decades, you know what I'm saying? Years and decades. So they've been there, done that. So if you're unable to, you know what I mean, if you're unable to find that comfort zone within trying your hardest to follow the laws in the Bible, the laws that God gave us for our covenant. You know what I'm saying? If you're having issues following those things, and you have people who can, you have brothers, you know what I mean, that you have brothers, you have priests that can give you the counsel that you need to be able to get you out of that system of being stuck in worldly activities. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very difficult situation, but when you fear the Most High, it's not really that difficult. You know what I mean? You're going to adapt to what type of lifestyle you need to live. You're going to adapt to the type of person that you need to be. You're going to adapt to all those things when you get into this truth, right? So let's get into the scriptures, right? We're going to get into Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. That's what I'll give you some time to get over there, because I don't have a reader, so I'm going to get in this myself. So the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1. Okay, so the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 and verse 1 says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." And this is exactly what's going to happen to you as you follow the lifestyle that the Most High requires from us. You know what I mean? There's going to be battles. There's going to be temptation. There's going to be a lot of temptation. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of temptation, and you're going to see, your eyes are going to open up to seeing what this scripture actually means. Because when you have the truth, you see that I was being played my whole life. Like, our oppressors were playing us our whole life. First, they made us think that we was African. Then they made it seem as if the things we were eating were good for us. The things that we were customly doing on, like, our, let's say, with holidays and birthdays and all those things like that. They made these things into pretty much a holiday. No more. Get some water. Yeah. They made these things into a customary thing for us that okay, so it's like repetition. Like, we keep doing them every year. We keep doing these things every year since the day we were born. And, you know what I mean, we grown accustomed to it. So much so that when it's unnatural for you to think that birthdays are unlawful. It's unnatural for you to think that holidays, Christmas and Easter and all these different pagan holidays are unlawful. Hey, get on your phone, please. All right. So you would think that it's just in a position where it is like, okay, well, I didn't know these things. I didn't know that these things were unlawful. And not just that, I'm so used to these things that it's going to be hard for me to stop. It's going to be hard for me to stop these things. It's going to be hard for me to choose a different type of way of lifestyle. I mean, so I can just. Salakia. But yeah, so they've made us so comfortable with these things, with this lifestyle, like that it is walking through fire when you have to get rid of these things, because people are going to look at you crazy. Your family is going to disown you. They're going to be like, oh, you don't want to, you don't want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to do the thing. You don't want to acknowledge the things that make me happy. You don't want to sit there and say happy birthday to me. You don't want to go out with me on my on my birthday. You don't want to come and give your kids gifts and stuff like that for Christmas. And they'll do away with you. I mean, they'll throw you away. And so that is a way of walking through the fire. You know what I mean? Because you don't want people to disown you, but at the end of the day, you have to serve the Most High. You know what I mean? And you have to serve him wholeheartedly and not be a back and forth type person, like a person that I'm gonna put my foot right here and I'm gonna go this way. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna serve the Lord, but I'm just gonna do a little bit over here. I mean, I'll show up, but I won't sing happy birthday. I'll just show up. You know what I mean? You can't have one foot in and one foot out. You know what I mean? The Lord says make your election sure. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do just that. And if your election is not sure, then you're going to have a sense of doubt between yourself, and then you're going to start questioning whether if you really belong in this truth or not. And that's the mindset that you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? That's the mindset that you want to try to avoid as much as possible. You have to have 100% confidence that you are living the way that the Most High wants you to live. You know what I'm saying? And those things that do test you, you know what I mean, that is a sign that the Most High loves you. That's the sign that the Most High cares about your well-being. He hears your prayers. You know what I mean? When you're doing the things right, Satan, I mean, I could say Satan, but I wouldn't even just say just Satan, but things in your life are going to come to try to put you out of the lifestyle that you live in. When you live in the way that the Most High wants you to live, there's going to be battles that come into your life. You know what I'm saying? That are going to try to trial you to stop serving the Most High the way that you need to, right? And you have to be able to battle those things, and you need full on confidence that you are living the right way. That's why you have to get into these scriptures. That's why you have to get in contact with your camp leaders. You know what I mean? You have to be able to get proper guidance that you are doing the right thing, right? You know what I'm saying? And if anything is putting you in a position where you're feeling weak, you know what I mean? This is why this is a brotherhood. You know what I mean? The ISUPK is a brotherhood. Like, we are, like, it's going to be plenty of times where you feel like, you know what I mean, the battle could be lost. But that's why you got the brotherhood to keep you standing, keep you strong. You know what I'm saying? Because if you without it, I'm telling you, without the strength of this brotherhood, you know what I mean, there'd be a lot of people still in the world doing drugs. You know what I mean? There'd be a lot of people in the world, you know what I mean, sleeping with whores, celebrating their birthdays, celebrating holidays, all these things, you know what I mean? But it's the strength of brotherhood, you know what I mean, that keeps us, you know what I mean, intact and confident to be able to get through another day knowing that we are doing the right thing. You know what I mean? So that's brotherhood class. Let me get back to law class. So let me see. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and 28. Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and 28. Let's see. Okay. It's tissue in the restroom, okay? Let's see. Let me get there too. So like my phone has been going slow lately. There it is. Okay, so the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 4 and verse 28 says, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. So this is more into, you know what I mean, what can I say? You know what I mean? Striving for the truth unto death. Like when you're striving, hey, shalom, Adawan. When you're striving for truth, you know what I mean? Like striving for truth means that you're because it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You know what I mean? Like you're consistently trying to grasp on to the acceptance of the Most High. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, they want to sit in class and they want to, I mean, they want to do what they do and then they want to leave and then do what they do after that. You know what I mean? And we already know what that means. But when you're striving for truth means that you are really like you, I mean, you're the same way in class and you're the same way out of class. You're doing the right thing when you're in class, learning about the Most High, living the way that is an example to you from brothers above you. And also you go home and you're alone and you still do those same things. You know what I mean? You're striving for truth. You're actually living the way that the Most High wants you to live. Because like I was saying before, there's so many things that can knock you off your path when you step out of these walls. When you step out of these classes, when you step out of these walls, there's so many, our oppressors have given you so much things to make it so easy for you not to follow the law. You know what I mean? Not to follow his ways, to leave this school. You know what I mean? He makes it so easy for you. So when you step out and you're still doing the same things that you do, even when you're in class or out of class, you know what I mean? You're striving for the truth. You're striving because you can't be in here acting a certain type of way or being a certain type of way. So we don't have control over what happens to you or what you do when you step out of here. You're going to do what you want to do. So all this binds into what are you willing to sacrifice? So let's get back into that topic. What are you willing to sacrifice? Like, are you willing to sacrifice your children? Not in a form of, oh yeah, well, you know what I mean, how Abraham and Isaac, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about as a form of like, are you willing to not give your kids that birthday? Are you willing to not give your kids that holiday? Are you willing to not care what your kid is saying as far as what they wanted to eat or what they wanted to do? Are you willing to just ignore all those things and do the right thing? You know what I mean? Do the right thing, which is not give them that bacon burger. You know what I mean? Which is not give them that birthday present, that birthday request, which is not allow them to be involved with certain holiday trends that they do in school. It's like it. Are you willing to sacrifice your children? Are you willing to sacrifice your rib? Are you or your significant other? You know what I mean? Maybe you stepped into the truth and the person that you are with or are in love with are not in the truth and they hate you for being in the truth. Are you willing to sacrifice them? You know what I mean? Are you willing to allow them to hate you because you love the Most High? Because you love being righteous? Are you willing to sacrifice them? Because a lot of people fail within that category. When it comes to being with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Mentally, emotionally, sexually, everything like that. And you knowing that you are being hated from them because they're not willing to serve this truth the way that you're willing to serve it. They don't love the Most High the way that you do, so they're not willing to love the Most High enough to get rid of the holidays, to get rid of the birthdays, to get rid of the drugs, to get rid of all those things that make them unrighteous. They're not willing to give away those things. Are you willing to give away? Are you willing to accept, not give away, Salaki? Are you willing to accept the fact that this person hates you? Are you willing to accept the fact that this person is going to leave you? You know what I mean? It's like it's a sacrifice, and you have to take it as such, because there's nothing you can do to make someone have a zeal for the Most High. You know what I mean? You're in this truth because you have a zeal for the Most High. You have fear for what the Most High could do to you if you don't follow him the way that he requires you to. That's the reason why you're here. You know what I mean? And most people in the world would consider you an occult, and you know what I mean? Like, that's the way that they see you. But you don't see yourself like that because you actually have a devout mindset that you want to serve the Most High the way that he requires it. Hey, Shalom says, what's going on? So, you know what I mean? Are you willing to sacrifice that? Are you willing to sacrifice your urges? So, like, give me a second. Oh. Cut off for a second. All right. So are you willing to sacrifice your urges to do drugs? Are you willing to sacrifice your lust to sleep with heathens, to sleep with whores? Are you willing to sacrifice those things? You know what I'm saying? You have to be, these are the particular sacrifices that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Because before, you know what I mean, your sacrifices would go like from, like, let's say like a lamb with no blemish or anything like that. You know what I mean? But now that Christ was the ultimate, like Christ was the ultimate sacrifice. Christ literally, like, damn what you're willing to sacrifice as far as your day in and day out. It should be easy for you to be able to sacrifice whatever you're going through because Christ sacrificed his whole life. You know what I mean? He sacrificed his whole life. That's not just him dying. You know what I mean? That wasn't just the sacrifice that Christ made. You know what I mean? Christ sacrificed everything while he was living. You know what I mean? From a young age. He didn't just sacrifice his own, he didn't just sacrifice himself into his death. He sacrificed literally his whole days of living. You know what I mean? Christ was, it behooved him to be made like unto us. You want to be loved and cherished, and you want a relationship with somebody. You want to be able to share bodies with somebody, share emotions with somebody. Christ wanted those things too. But he had to sacrifice even being with a woman. You know what I mean? He had to sacrifice things that probably his people around him was doing and he knew he couldn't do. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no telling what was going on in his day to day of the things that he sacrificed. So let's get into Christ, because Christ is the ultimate sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like, he sacrificed every day until his dying day. You know what I'm saying? Until his dying day. And then not just that, he still had to die. He still had to suffer. He still had to die after all of the, after all of the things he had to do while he was living, he still had to die. And you have to put that in your spirit of how impactful that is into your life. You know what I'm saying? Because Christ lived and wanted to do the things that we do. Like if you live in this society, we started early. You know what I mean? We started dang near early teenage days on what we were doing that was unlawful, you know what I mean, unto ourselves early. Like you had that one friend that tell you, oh yeah, well, I'm about to go mess with so-and-so. You know, like you can, like her homegirl gonna come too. Like, you wanna come? Like, you know what I'm saying? And you thinking to yourself, like, I'm gonna be uncool if I just sit over here and not sleep with this whore. You know what I mean? So you started early. So Christ even had to start early also. Like when he had his mission that he was going to, that he is, and he was going to be this particular thing. He was going to be this sacrifice, a sacrifice without blemish, because Christ was perfect. He did not break the law. You know what I mean? He did not know what a strip of pork bacon tastes like. He did not know what the easiness of the touch of a whore and being able to sleep with a whore felt like. You know what I'm saying? He didn't follow those things. He lived his life out perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So you have to take that in to your spirit. Like, what I'm doing should be easy compared to what Christ had to do. You know what I mean? All these things should be easy. Like, just think about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you live your whole life out. It's manufactured for you to live a particular type of way. You know what I mean? Even though Christ was beloved by certain people, you know what I mean, and was looked at like a, you know what I mean, I mean, say a celebrity in type of sense. That's the only word I could come up with. But a person to follow, even after that. But all in all, you know what I mean, he had those things, but still, those things lead into other battles. You know what I mean? Those things lead into, you know what I mean? Like Christ could have had a rib in 2 seconds if he wanted to, but he didn't need that distraction. He didn't want that distraction. He wanted to stay focused into the mission that he had at hand, and he completed the mission. Once he died, he completed the mission. So look at your life. You know what I mean? You are barely stepping into this truth, or you've been in this truth, but Christ did it for, you know what I mean, decades. And he did it day in and day out. He was hated. He was, you know what I mean, scolded and tested. And at the end of the day, he completed the mission. So who are we to sit here and get this truth, to get this knowledge, and not still complete the mission? You know what I mean? Like, it is our job to sit here and make sure that the mission is completed. And that's what this scripture is saying. Let me read it again. It says, strive for the truth unto death. You know what I mean? Just like Christ did. Christ strived for the truth unto death. And once he died, he completed it. That was it. The mission was over. He did exactly what he needed to do. You know what I'm saying? His mission was done after that. But there's another mission after that. And that mission is coming very, very soon. You know what I'm saying? Christ was done with what he needed to do during that time period where he was making himself the ultimate sacrifice, and he sacrificed himself unto death. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, there was still more to come with that. And there's still more to come. And the mission is really not over yet. You know what I mean? It's not over yet. Because, yeah, Christ died. He did that. He accomplished that, which is what we should be doing as well. We should be following the Most High until death. And that's when the mission is over. But Christ still has more in store. You know what I mean? There's more prophecies to come, even that, and you get that in Revelations. You know what I mean? You get that all throughout the Bible, though. I mean, to keep it real. But Christ has another mission at hand, that he has to come and bring salvation to all blacks and all Hispanics and Native Americans. And I say all as far as because of where our destination is going to end up at. I'm not saying all as far as like there's not going to be 2/3 that are not going to be, you know what I mean, able to get the help they're gonna need during a time period of troubles. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying as far as the okay, how can I say it? How can I say it easy? That all blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans are going to end up in the kingdom. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, it's when you're going to be there. Because a lot of people got to die in this nation with the heathens. A lot of people got to die in this nation with the heathens. A lot of people have to die in this nation with the heathens because they decided to live unrighteously. And even when that truth was brought to them, they still didn't want to captivate themselves into that. They still didn't want to find a home within the home of the truth. They wanted to find something else. It wasn't comfortable enough for them, so they had to go find something else. Oh, I wasn't able to lay with heathen women, so I'm gonna have to go find something else. I wasn't able to, you know what I mean, still have this Christian spirit, so I'm gonna go find something else. I wasn't able to, let's say, I wasn't able to accept the fact that I didn't want my husband to have multiple wives, so I was just gonna go find something else. You know what I mean? It's a lot of that going on, and a lot of that situation. It's out of the lifestyle that the Most High wants you to live in. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say. Let me say that. Let me rephrase that too, because not wanting. Okay. To the multiple wives thing. Wanting to be the only wife is not unlawful, but it's just out of the spirit. So let me rephrase that, because I don't want to try to, you know what I mean, try to bring confusion. Like that just needs to be, it's not in the spirit. It's not, it's okay. Just put yourself in a situation where you can avoid those things. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say it's unlawful, because it's not. It's not unlawful to have that mindset, but at the end of the day, it's not in the spirit of the Most High. You know what I mean? It's not something that you should be concerned about. It's not something that you should be worried about, because you have a job that you're supposed to be the peace in your husband's life. You don't want to be the person who brings him more battles to face in life. You know what I mean? You have to be the help me. You have to be the peace. So you having that mindset and bringing less than peace is, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to be serving your husband the way that you serve the Most High. So that I had to recap that and make sure that I put that in the right way, because I don't want to spread false narratives. You know what I mean? It's not unlawful. You can have that mindset, but at the end of the day, you're just causing more stress on yourself. You know what I mean? All in all, at the end of the day, your focus should be just on your husband, not on, you know what I mean, what goes on after that. But all in all, back to it. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to make it in this time period, because we see that this time period is the time period that the Christ was talking about. We see that this time period is the time period where, you know what I mean, you see wars and rumors of wars, and you see all the prophecies all colliding together. So you know that time is coming. You know what I mean? You prepare your children for the time that is coming, that is now. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're already talking about, you know what I mean, grocery stores and everything like that is about to be, there's about to be a shortage of food in a second. So all these things are coming for signs that that Christ's mission is coming to completion. You know what I mean? Because not only was he supposed to die and resurrect, but he was also supposed to come back and spread justice on the nation that has been giving, the nations that has been giving his people hell for centuries. The people who have enslaved and murdered and robbed and done all and not just that, manipulated and brainwashed, all these things, all these things that is unjust to what the Most High meant by Israel being judged. You know what I mean? Israel being judged, yeah, you know what I mean? Like the Lord said, you know what I mean? You get into Deuteronomy 28. Like you hear these things that the Lord was warning us about if we decided not to serve the Most High. If we decided to break the covenant, you see all these things of what was supposed to happen to us. But the only thing about it is our oppressors did way more than that. You know what I mean? They damn near wiped out all of the Indians. So like it, they damn near wiped out all of the native brothers and sisters. They damn near wiped all of us out. They treated us like, you know what I mean, like pieces of dirt. You know what I mean? And even in the Bible, it says nobody's going to receive that mercy, even young and old, when it comes to dealing with them. And you see our children being killed by our oppressors. You see you see old women being, you know what I mean, killed by our oppressors. You know what I'm saying? Old men, like, it doesn't matter what the age group about it is, you're still treated like a dog because that's how they see you. You know what I mean? You're still getting reports of things happening to us because of, regardless of what age limit we're at, because that's the thing. That's what's happened. That's what they want. And they don't have a, how can I say, a sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have a sense of compassion for what type of person you are. They don't have a sense of compassion about what age you are. They don't have a sense of compassion towards anything. You are who you are. And what you are looked upon as is a dog or a piece of dirt. And that's how they see you. They see you as a burden to this nation, even though we built this place for free, even though we gave them all of the best, what's the word I'm looking for? All of the best things that they have here, like their God dang, the word is in the back of my head, I swear. Technology. All of their technology, all of their everything, their ways of being, like everything. We giving them all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And even after that, of them stealing all those things, they still look at you like a piece of dirt. You know what I mean? You have to understand what we are dealing with as we live in this nation with our oppressors. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom says, what's going on? But we have to understand it. You know what I mean? Understand the simple fact that you are not ever going to be loved. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you as a whole, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about you as an individual, but you as a whole will never be accepted in this nation. And you can try, but you'll have your token few who beat the crack, made it through the cracks and was able to, you know what I mean, serve their oppressors the way that they needed to serve them, and they got through and they was able to live the way that they wanted to live. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're still under somebody. You're still under your oppressors. You will never be over your oppressors. You know what I mean? You'll never get that opportunity to be able to, you know what I mean, be over your oppressors. Like, and we have to understand that stuff. Like, our oppressors they're so wicked that they'll have you in a situation. Okay. So let's get into, I mean, I could say that for Camp, but I'll just give it to you right now. Our oppressors forced integration right? Before that, we had our own schools, we had our own communities and everything like that. And they forced integration because of the things we were doing were something that they felt like they can, you know what I mean, they can have production off of. They could, I don't know the word right now. They could gain off of. You know what I mean? So let's say even our schools that we built, you know what I mean? You see all these HBCUs and everything like that. There is a program that's out right now. You know what I mean? That for HBCUs, there's a program out right now where if you are outside of being black, then they pay you more for bringing people in who are not black. Mind you, these were our schools. These were places that we came into, you know what I mean? And we built and we used it as our system of education. These colleges. You know what I'm saying? Now they integrated, they took over those colleges, and not just that, they made it illegal for you. Well, not illegal, but they made it more of a benefit for you to get into those colleges, not being black, not being Hispanic, not being Native American. We want everything that's not these things to come into these colleges, and we'll pay you more. Kind of like how you see it, like the minority system when you go into a job and they pay the job more for bringing in minorities than bringing in just all white people. You know what I'm saying? But this is the system that they put within the colleges. The colleges for the HBCUs, they made it so that if you are outside of being considered Negro and you come into these colleges, we'll pay you more to bring those people in. I gotta find the actual program that does that, but this is exactly what's happening within the HBCUs. They get paid more for bringing in East Indians. They get paid more for bringing in Hawaiians. They get paid more for bringing in white people. They get paid more for bringing in Africans. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are considered non-black, then you are you are beneficial for that school. So the goal is to not bring in as many black people because we don't get paid as much. That's what the goal is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on within the system. And I matter of fact, I can pull up exactly what that goddamn thing is called. I just seen it. But that's exactly what's going on in the college system right now. HBCUs, people are like so destined to get into an all black college, even though these colleges might be named after our oppressors. You know what I mean? Might be the name of the college might be a slave owner. You know what I mean? But still, it's an all black college. Like, well, supposedly an all black college, but they'll make it seem as if it's an all black college, and then they'll, you know what I mean, add in all their BS that comes with it. Let's get back to it though. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we could probably do that one. Let's go to Jeremiah 17:9. Jeremiah 17:9. Now, Lonnie, can you turn that down a little bit, please? Can you turn that down a little bit, please? Okay, so the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. So You know what I mean? Being the topic of like, what are you willing to sacrifice and everything like that? Like, you know what I mean? When you are in the trial, the Lord's trialing you. The Lord is putting you through the test. You know what I mean? Of seeing if you're really about it or not. If you're really not a coward. You know what I mean? If you're really about what you are trying to represent, the Lord is going to put you through those things because he knows that you are going to, like he says, the heart, which is the mind, is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. You know what I mean? You're going to think certain things in your brain that you should do certain things that you know that you shouldn't do. You're going to try to manipulate certain situations in your life to put you in a comfort zone of being able to handle those well, not handle, but get back into doing those certain things that you're not supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? You're going to think those things in your mind, especially while you be in trial. You know what I mean? Because you're going to want to try to make things easier for you. And the Lord is telling you that your mind is deceiving you. And it's the most deceitful thing. So it's not your job to sit over here and try to find a way to try to step out of serving the Most High the way that you're supposed to serve him. It's your job to endure unto the end. So whatever you're going through, you need to find a balance within yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you need to know that the Lord is with you, because the Lord is with you. The Lord is walking in that fire with you. So like, let me see. Let me get that up. Let me see. The Lord is with you in the fire. Let's see. I think it's in 2nd Ezra 7:52. Let me see. Oh, no, I have to find that one. Salaki. I don't want to spend too much time looking for it, but you know what I mean? If you go to Proverbs 24:16, like it's saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be situations where you fall and you're going to have to keep bringing yourself back up and getting yourself into a position where you know that you're living perfectly. You know what I mean? You know that you're following the Most High, that you need the way that you need to follow. You know what I mean? And that is a mission upon all of us. You know what I mean? Like, this is not an easy task, especially as easy as it is to sin. You know what I mean? As easy as it is to sin, it's not going to make it any easier for you to live righteously. You know what I mean? To get your kids to live righteously, which is a big thing, because all they see is everything that is traditionalized up in front of them. All the birthdays, all the holidays, like it's even in their own schools. Go ahead. It's even in their own schools. You know what I mean? Like, their schools are trying to teach them to serve these things. Their schools are trying to teach them, are trying to feed them pork and, you know what I mean, shrimp, crab, lobster. Like, their schools are even trying to feed them these things. Like, it's hard to even get away from it. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean, you have to hold yourself as a standard. You know what I mean? You have to be the standard for those who may feel too weak to be able to get through this type of situations, to be able to walk through the fire. You know what I mean? Because if you fail, then the people who look up to you are going to fail. And that's just the way it is. If you sit there and if you sit over here and you're trying to make it seem as if you're a representation for the Most High, and you're smoking cigarettes and smoking weed and, you know what I mean, still sleeping with heathens and whores and, you know what I mean, still celebrating these holidays and all that stuff like that. Like, if you're doing all these things, then you are not just destroying yourself, but you're destroying people who look up to you. Even the people who talk down at you. because even their time will come. You know what I mean? Like, you have to stay strong because people are looking at you and they're making you an example of, oh yeah, well, this is why I don't do that, or this is why I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to hold yourself accountable and hold your lifestyle accountable, where you make sure that you live righteously so much to the point where you will never be a bad representation for the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that you are that standard. You are that mark. You are set as that example that this is why I do it. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that everything that you do in life was going to be a system of gain, because that's not what it is. We're not the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? It's not about gain. It's not about everything that you gained in life. Oh, you got a car, you got a house, you know what I mean? You can't base your whole life on that. It's about how you carry yourself, how you live completely. You know what I'm saying? Even though that you live in a battle full of trials and a battle full of things that are going on in your life, even though you live in that particular manner, you still don't turn away from the Most High. You still show your strength. You know what I'm saying? That's an example within itself alone. It's not about gaining, but the way that you carry yourself, the way that you know what I mean, the way that you live, and you stand on your own 2 feet, and you make sure that it's known that I'm not going to celebrate these holidays. I'm not going to eat this particular thing. I'm not going to do drugs or smoke cigarettes. I'm not going to, you know what I mean, be a drunkard. I'm not going to be any of these things. You know what I mean? I'm going to live my life out in a particular way that the Most High wanted me to live. And I'm going to be that example. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. That's the mission. And when people feel like they're living in their ways of sin and they're trying to use you as an example, oh yeah, well, they're going through that and they're going through this. When it's all the end all be all, they'll see it. They'll see why they should have stayed in that path. Well, actually followed that path that you were leading into, because there's always an end game to every situation. And like I said before, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not about what you're experiencing now that you may feel like you might got the up and up on this person. It's about what happens at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Because it may seem like someone has the upper hand while you're going through your trials, and then you step out of your trials, you defeat all those demons that, you know what I mean, try to attack you, all those situations in your life that try to attack you, and you win those things. And now you're placed into a position where you are able to not just conquer the lifestyle you're able to live, but you're able to conquer the mentality that you used to have that would made you weak. You know what I'm saying? And you're able to move forward with your life. Most people can't move forward with their life. They need to have certain things in their life to make them move forward, like drugs. They need to have, you know what I mean? They need to have situations in their lives to help them move forward with themselves, to make them feel secure enough with themselves to move forward in life. But you won't need those things. You got everything you need because you know that you're living righteously. You know what I'm saying? This is what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like, it's a spirit that comes with it. It's a spirit that comes with it. And it's like, when you know that you are battling and then you know that you beat that thing, it's a way more satisfying feeling when you know that you endured and you had the patience to let those storms pass. You know what I'm saying? It's a way more glorifying experience when you sat there and you took the blows, you took the shots to the ribs, you took the shots to the face, and you sat there and you maintained yourself and you kept your composure, you were patient, and you were able to fight back, and you beat that situation. And now you're stepping into a situation where you're able to face bigger and better things. You know what I mean? That's the road that we walk down. You know what I mean? And that's all until we get our kingdom. Because when we get our kingdom, there will not be these battles that's going on that we live through. You know what I mean? It won't be a nation that's against you once we get our kingdom. But it's all about the fight of what you're willing to do to get that kingdom. It's all about what you're willing to do to be able to live righteously enough to be an example for the next person, so they can live their lives out righteously. So they can be like, oh yeah, well I have to keep fighting, because if my brother or my sister, or they keep fighting and they've been through this and they've been through that and they're still fighting, I have no excuse to sit there and keep saying, oh yeah, well this road ends with me. You know what I mean? There's no excuses. But that's what this whole trip is all about. That's what this whole battle is all about. You know what I mean? And it's uniting us. It's putting us in a position where we are able to have so much of a stronger bond than we could with anybody in the world. You know what I mean? Our bond is way more stronger than what we could have with anybody in the world, because we know what that person is going through. We know what that person faces every day. I mean, that brother or sister, we know what they're facing every day. And we know why they still show up to class is because of the same zeal that we have for the Most High. You know what I'm saying? For this brotherhood. That's why they're able to show up. And that's why I cannot stop showing up, because if they're able to show up, then I have absolutely no excuses not to show up. Because he went through this and that, or she went through this and that. You know what I mean? I still got this and that. I probably went through this and that, but I still got this and that. You know what I mean? So let me be the example of why you should be still in this truth today, even though I've went through this and that, depending on whatever it is, whatever your situation is. I mean, because there's a lot of brothers and sisters who leave the truth, but there's a lot of brothers and sisters who stay. And the reason why you stay is because, you know what I mean, you don't want to let your brothers and sisters down. You don't want to let your brother down. Showing him that, yeah, there's a way to escape this battle. There's a way to escape the trials that we are responsible for. You know what I mean? That's the main key portion. Like, you don't want to let no one else down, because you don't know what someone else is going through. That's sitting over here trying to do the same things you're doing. That's coming to class every day. You know what I mean? That's sitting in class all black, trying to be something in life. You don't know what that sister's going through, that is sitting down in class every day, who knows that she could probably benefit off of selling her body, selling her most important, you know what I mean, or most the best thing that she has on her. She can sell that thing and be able to gain in this society. She can give those things out. She can post herself with her clothes all the way off. You know what I mean? She could sell her box to whatever rich man wants to give her a certain portion, that she can help herself get herself into a nice trip in Miami, or a nice trip in Dubai, or something like that. She withholds those things because she knows that once she does those things, that she has given a reason for her sister to fail, who comes after her. A brother doesn't do those things as far as failing, because he doesn't want his brother to fail, who's probably going through this situation. You know what I mean? This all ties into what you're willing to sacrifice, because those sacrifices that you're going to have, those are going to be your trial of what you're willing to give for the Most High. You know what I'm saying? What you're willing to give for the representation of what Christ went through, you know what I mean, as far as what he gave up. Because like I said before, Christ gave up the ultimate sacrifice. His whole life was based on to sacrificing day in and day out, because he had those same thoughts and same urges and same things going through his mind that we think is cool today, that we think is acceptable today. True, sis. Like, if you love the Lord, I mean, like I said, like, you know what I mean? The fear of the Lord first is the beginning of wisdom. You have to be able to fear the Lord. You know what I mean? If you love the Lord, you follow his statutes and commandments. But if you fear the Lord, you are already starting to gain wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You are already starting to gain wisdom, and wisdom is probably the most important thing that you'll have. You know what I mean? Walking in this truth. It's the most important thing that you'll have because you know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what way you're supposed to move and what way you're not supposed to move. You know what I mean? You have these brothers and sisters who have sacrificed their whole lives to be that example of what you're supposed to live like. You know what I mean? You have these brothers and sisters who are showing you day in and day out of the ways of what you're supposed to be as soon as you get into this truth, because you know what I mean, it's one body. You have to be in accord to what is going on once you step into this truth. You know what I mean? And it takes time. It takes you know what I mean, preparation. But at the end of the day, once you adapt to the lifestyle that it takes to be in this truth, you get it. You get it, you understand it, and you know, okay, I gotta move like this. I gotta walk like this. Like if you watch scripture breakdown this past Thursday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Cap pretty much broke it all the way down. You know what I mean? But all in all, like it's it's not just about you anymore when you step into this truth. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's mainly about serving the Most High. Yes, we understand that. But there's certain things the Most High is not going to come to you in a physical form and say, "Hey, you doing this wrong. You got to do this." He's not going to. You know what I mean? Like he's going to put people in this world to be an example of how the way you should live. And you know what I mean, Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh, we got Commander General Yohana because he set that standard. You know what I mean? He set that standard as far as the way to walk when you're walking in the truth and not turning on the ways that we were taught, that we were given from the Most High, how to live in this truth. He kept the standard. He maintained it, and now look at his organization now. You know what I mean? Sacrificing and showing selfishness. Yeah, for real, true, con. You know what I mean? Like that's what a lot of people do, and for Commander General Hunter, you know what I mean, for being able to be that example and passing that example down, rank from rank from rank from rank from rank. It's a lot of strong and powerful brothers in this truth. You know what I mean? A lot of strong and powerful brothers in this truth. People that I admire. You know what I mean? As a brother, as you know what I mean, even a consultant, you know what I mean, in a way, like a person that I can go to for help, and they're not even my age. You know what I mean? Like they're younger than me, but because they've been in the truth, and they've been serving this truth for as long as they've been serving it, they're above me as far as knowledge wise. You know what I mean? And I'm able to go to them and to seek knowledge and to be able to get that knowledge because of what they've been through in their walking and their giving of their sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? But that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? So when you're in this truth, you have no excuses of why you can't serve the Most High in the way that He wants you to serve Him. All you have to do is just look at your brothers and sisters who are above you and see, like, okay, they're able to get through that. They're able to sacrifice this. They're able to sacrifice that. I should be able to walk through this fire. This fire should be nothing, even though it's personal to me and it's something that hits deep to me because it's something that I used to do that was not good for me. That wasn't securing me a seat in these chariots. You know what I mean? I know how to live now because they are showing me the way of how to live. So like I'm over here. Got a whole frog in my throat. So like I'm over here losing my voice, but yeah, so okay, so the topic is what are you willing to sacrifice? Okay, so let me get into that. Be willing to sacrifice anything. You know what I mean? Be willing to even sacrifice your own life if it comes to that situation. Be prepared to even sacrifice your whole life if it's taken there, because that's what Christ did for us. He sacrificed his whole life. So if your day-to-day life is uncomfortable to you and you feel like it should be going a certain type of way, but you know that what you're doing is following the Most High wholeheartedly, then find some type of security in following the Most High wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? And don't question what you do, and don't feel some type of insecurity or a sense of doubt into what you do, because all in all, at the end of the day, you know what I mean, your life could be an example for the next person who's coming in after you. You know what I mean? So if you could say that you were able to sacrifice this or sacrifice that, and they are going through their trials and they're sacrificing and they're finding out, like, you know what I mean, all right, I don't want to lose this, I don't want to lose that, but this person lost all this, or they lost all that, and they're still here, and they're still serving the Most High, they're still serving Christ, and they're still able to walk in this truth. What excuse do I have? You know what I mean? Is it because I really love this thing more than the Most High? Or is it because I just am not strong enough to be able to walk in this truth? You know what I mean? Because there's plenty of different paths. Like, you know what I mean? Like it says, broad is the way, broad is the path that leads to destruction. You know what I mean? There's plenty of different paths that are going to lead you into your comfort zone, if that makes any sense. There's going to be plenty of different paths that lead you into you being able to live in the life, being able to keep something that you know that you shouldn't have, that you know that you shouldn't be still keeping with you while you're walking through this mission of serving the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because particularly they could weaken you or they could lead you back into the world. But there's plenty of different paths. There's fake Israelite groups. There's Christianity. There's, you know what I mean? There's lots of things where you feel like, oh yeah, I'm still serving the Most High, but I just didn't want to get rid of this, so I stayed doing that. You know what I mean? There's plenty of different paths. So for you to be able to walk straight in the path of righteousness, it's gonna take a lot of discipline. You know what I mean? And a lot of discipline is going to be upon you, and that's the whole point of this situation. Because when you look at the situation, us during the time period where we were free from Egypt, we didn't have discipline. You know what I mean? We were stuck into our ways of what our oppressors gave us, and that's why we were so quick to jump back into the ways of our oppressor, even though we were shown so many signs of wonders of what the Most High was willing to do to save us from captivity, willing to get us out of the path of following our oppressors and getting us into a path of serving him. He did all of that. And even in that midst of that situation, we still got uncomfortable. We still got complaining, and we still wanted to live a lifestyle that was easy. Because going on the road into serving the Most High is not going to be easy for you, especially when you're building his nation up. You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not just going to be like it's like you say, you know what I mean, Alakazuza and just stuff appears. You know what I mean? No, like you're going to have to work and build this nation. It's not just going to be you stepping into the truth and then boom, your whole life changes and now you're a millionaire. No, you know what I mean? you're going to have to work and build. Work and build. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know what I mean, the Most High is saying there's going to become a time where it becomes a time where people are going to serve, and there's going to become a time where people are going to hunt. It's going to be a time where people are going to have to battle. People are going to, it's all these things, but all these things take action. And you have to get your you got to get your feet wet. You know what I mean? You have to get in this truth and you have to work. The work is easy right now. You know what I mean? It's easy to be able to come into class. It's easy to be able to, you know what I mean, follow an order. Those things are easy, but it's going to come a time period where not only is it not easy to be in this truth, but it's going to be hard within not being in this truth. Because right now we're experiencing the beginning of sorrows, you know what I'm saying? And not yet have the sorrows been able to impact this nation the way that it's supposed to, because it's coming. And you know what I mean? You see the high gas prices, you see a lot of things where it's hitting you financially, but what's going to happen when it's like you really are striving to keep your family alive? You know what I'm saying? You're going to need the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So we're prepping for that day, because when that day comes, the Christian church is not going to be able to save their people. The Catholic priests are not going to be able to save their people. You know what I mean? The Muslim mosque, they're not going to be able to save their people. The Jewish rabbi, they're not going to be able to save their people. So it's going to get to a time period where things are going so bad. We experienced a little tiny portion of it when coronavirus first hit. You know what I mean? Food was not in the stores. You couldn't even get a top ramen noodle without having to wait the next week to buy something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of things, like when you seen the actual panic happening, you seen what this nation could come up to. But that's not even the beginning of it. You know what I mean? Like that was a little tiny experience of what could happen. But those things are going to happen. You know what I mean? And these things are not going to change. It's the beginning of sorrows. These are the beginning of the prophecies that Christ put down that was going to happen before he arrives and he saves his people out of this captivity. It's like it. You know what I mean? So the fact that we can see these things happening and we know that these things are coming, it should boost our zeal even higher. It should make those battles even easier to fight, because we know that Christ is on the way. I mean, Yahushua is on the way. And he's showing his people that this is what I marked down. If you want to try to step back into the world, and then I would suggest you don't, because I'm on the way right now. Yahushua is on the way right now. Our King is on the way. So it's up for us to maintain a mentality and a lifestyle to be able to fight those things off, right? And with that, you know what I mean, there's pretty much nothing else to say about it. I mean, be an example the way that Christ was an example. Christ literally sacrificed every day of his life. You know what I mean, the things that I think about that I want, that maybe, you know what I mean, I'll find myself like looking towards or going to, as far as like things that could distract me from the truth, I have to battle those things the way that Christ battled those things, because Christ probably wanted all those things. You know what I mean? Especially in the stressful lifestyle that he had to live. You know what I mean? He probably wanted all those things, especially when it even got closer to the end for his situation. That probably put him in even a deeper situation of fighting those battles, because you know that any day now I can die. Any day it's coming. And there's nothing I can do to stop this. As much as I want to, as much as I want to live, as much as I want to be able to enjoy a nice hot meal, enjoy a nice, you know what I mean, beverage, or enjoy the company of the people around me, my days are coming to an end. And I'm going to have to face this day of not judgment, but this day of me fulfilling the prophecy. You know what I'm saying? With that, you have to live your life out the same way. You have to literally be prepared to die in this truth. You know what I'm saying? If it comes to that. To kill and die in this truth. You know what I mean? And that's what it eventually it will come to. But what are you willing to do? You know what I mean? What are you willing to sacrifice as far as what it comes to being in this truth? Because it's a big responsibility to know the truth. You can't go back. You'll never go back. Even the people who left, they still know in the back of their heads, I'm not supposed to do this, or I'm not supposed to do that. But I'm going to force myself to get myself out of that mentality of thinking that this is right. When really they know what they're doing is wrong. You know what I mean? They know it. They can feel it. But all in all, you know what I mean? Sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever is coming at you is gonna come. It's gonna come even quicker now because we at the end of it. We're at the end. We're at the end of our point. You know what I mean? Now it's like the test has a grade coming. You want to pass that test. Your test that you've been studying for so long is now you're about to take that test and you're going to get a grade for it. Now, what your grade is depending on how you live your day in and day out. But just know that Christ was willing to die for his grade. You know what I mean? Christ was willing to suffer every day of wanting things and not being able to grasp onto those things or experience certain things because he had a mission and he couldn't take his eyes off that mission. Even when Satan tried to tempt him and give him, you know what I mean, fame, fortune, you know what I mean, land, everything. Try to give him everything just for him to be able to stop the mission. And he still didn't stop, even in his lowest moment. Like even in his time of feeling the weakest that he's probably ever felt, he still kept his composure. He still kept his promise, and he still kept the prophecy, and he fulfilled it all the way into his last breath. You live the same way out. You sacrifice that. Whatever's going on in your day in and day out, whatever's going on in your life, be willing to sacrifice everything that goes on. You know what I'm saying? If it's not good for you, then it's going to leave, and it's going to be gone. And you just have to accept the fact that it's gone. And if you're not willing to accept that and you want to keep on trying to, you know what I mean, dance around or try to keep these things attached to you, then you're going to end up in a position where, you know what I mean, your sacrifice means nothing. Your sacrifice has blemish to it. So do what you have to do to keep that sacrifice going. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever fire you're walking through, I'm not one to judge. You know what I mean? I have my own fires I walk through. But at the end of the day, it's about enduring into the end. It's not about enduring until it feels comfortable to you again. It's about enduring to the end. So keep that mindset. Yeah, the water for y'all tuning in, the water for y'all in the chat as well. You know what I mean? Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Barakatham to the brothers. Yahweh Shamar, Thumb Bashem Yahshua to the sisters. The water for y'all for tuning in.